Well, hi guys, hopefully this finds you very well. My name's Paul, this is Plan Z, and if you're a Canadian trucker, oi oi the boys, in fact truckers all over the world are kind of stepping up. This is brilliant, well done. Yeah, fucking great. Let's dive straight in. We've got Maxim, it's a BOS GT1000 amp. So it's one of their original amps, so it's not trying to copy anything else in particular. Now really, you can stick a Marshall cabinet on this and get Marshall tones out of it. You can stick a Mesa and kind of not really get Mesa, but get nice. So at the moment I've got Two Notes Cab M on what we're listening to, and I've actually got a Mesa Boogie closed back 6L6 on it. Now I'm going to be using a Mesa Boogie cabinet on it when I get to the GT1000 cabs in. This is my low gain. When we go into the patch, just get you orientated. We're going to look at 3 patches. I've got a very similar layout. Then we've got 2 special effects patches we're going to look at a little later. And we're going to be looking at a GT1000 version of this in just a moment. So we come in, we've got a low gain where I've taken a lot of the gain out. Bump the level, all the sag is off. I've got the resonance again up at 5. Now you will get a different vibe out of this by pushing that sag, but I've gone for a kind of a heavier tone, or a more immediate tone, so less sag. I've got the bass up at about 45. No, bass up at 50. Sorry, I'm remembering the other one. I've got my mids pushed. I've got my trebles pushed a little bit, and the presence up at about 80. Sorry, 60. I can't see the screen where I am. I've got the microphone slightly too far away. I've just managed to hit my head on the microphone. And then I've got the medium gain. So what happens here is this button here is changing between the 2 amps, and then this button here is changing this amp from a medium gain to a high gain. Let's get back to that medium gain, where we've got the bass at 46, mids at 70, trebs at 60, presence up at 80. When I go to high gain, I'm pushing those mids to 80, dropping the bass off just a couple, keeping my treble nice and high and my presence the same. But here the gain goes to 70, and when it's in medium gain, the gain is at 60, the level is at 70. Gone to the neck pickup, going to pull back the gain pot. Okay, after there we have our low end EQ. So here I'm commonly taking out 125 Hz in my low cut. I'm then dealing with 500 on a Q of 4 in this case, minus 4 dB coming out. I've got 315 of nothing coming out there, and I bump the level to compensate what I've taken out. In the last EQ I deal with the highs, but here taking a high cut at 8K that is, taking nothing at 5K, and just 1 dB on a Q of 8 of 4K. Not bumping the level, but bumping the highs and taking a low out. And then in this middle EQ, I'll play around with this and give different flavors. At the moment, I'm pushing 630 Hz on a wide Q at 3 dB, and I'm also pushing 125 and at 1.25 kilohertz on a wide Q 3 dB. Okay, and then what happens in these patches is I've got my wet channels. So here we come out to 2 notes, got a stereo pair there, got ribbon 121 on the left and a 57 on the right, and here I've got all the mic level turned off. I'm set to line level and the direct mix is all the way up. And here we can hear my reverb coming in, and in this case, in these patches I'm experimenting with my reverb after the cabinet. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that off. So that's how we're kind of generally laid out across these patches. Did I change anything there? I can't remember. I'm going to save it anyway. So in this patch, which should be patch 3, I've got a stereo version of that, but I've got a pushed medium gain to a pushed high gain. Actually, I don't know how pushed that is. Oh, we're on 70. Okay, so, and in the patch next to this, a patch 2, it's a medium to low gain, where I've got the gains on about 30, is that? Okay, but before we have a look at the special effects patches, let's get a jam up and running, and let's go down and have a look at the GT1000 Maxim that I've set up. What we're going to do is going to go into the left ear, we're going to stick on a fuzz, we're going to go to the back pickup, pull back the gain just a touch. There, let's go to the other ear, and what we're going to do is we're going to try, stick on a verb, we're going to boost it, driven medium gain. Okay, that's going okay, let's go to the medium gain. Actually, let's go high gain and boost it, stick on our verb. Boosted medium gain dry. Gonna go down to where I've got my GT1000 amps going through the cabinets, and what we've got going on here, Maxim, more or less the same settings. Okay. Just going to turn on the mastering effect. Just going to save my patch. Okay, What we're going to do is I just want to hear what that sounds like if I put on a fuzz and then a synth. The synth is coming from the SY300 and it's coming out of my send return here, where I've got it just sending the signal out, nothing coming back in. It goes to the desk on its own. Just gone to the low gain with the fuzz. Okay, so that's sounding cool. So what we'll do now, I'll just quickly show you. In here, what I've done with the EQ, slightly different things. So I've not taken my cut at 315. I am taking out a slightly wider cut. In fact, let's just... No, I like it with a bit more of that coming through. So I'm going to have this on a Q of 4 minus 4 dB. That's 500 Hertz. And then I've got my low cut 125. And then in this EQ, I'm just taking out a tightest Q, so 16 of 2K on 3 dB. And I'm taking out 2.5K, the same. Okay, nothing else in that EQ. And then here after the amp, I'm boosting the level, boosting the highs a little bit, taking the lows a little bit, taking out 4K minus 1 dB, 5K minus 1 dB. And then here we've got the mastering effect, where I've used the metal to take that off. High gain. I'd say that helps in a mix, so I'm going to leave that like that. Okay, so now let's go and look at some special effects patches. So let's go up to here. Now we're still going to be hearing GT1000 cabs because my wets coming out of my my sub outs bypass two notes in this. Now in the last patch it was all GT1000 cabs and wets, but in these patches the dry is coming from two notes, but that's disengaged at the moment. Okay, so what we're going to have is, it's like a synth sound. We're coming through a transparent. What I've got here is I'm going to turn the wets off. We've got maximum with a low gain, in a low gain, and we've got a medium gain one. Okay, the sag pulled off again. Then I'm using the overtone in front of the amp, so we're in the low gain amp now, and I've got an overtone down here. None of the direct level, none of the unison. Upper level. Actually, let's no, I'm going to leave it like this for the minute. Upper level in the middle, and lower level at about 30, 20. Okay, everything else is in the middle there, and we're running in mono. That then comes through the normal channels as I would, but when I engage, let's go to the wets now. So let's leave that on and go to the wet. What I've put here is the sound, the slow gear it's called. Okay, so that's like a fade into your note. Normally you'd have this at the front of your chain, but I would like the idea of trying this idea. So when I'm wet, it's got the slow gear behind me and it's not interfering with my notes, okay? So let's just go back to totally wet as we were. What I want to do is I just want to get myself up into E. We're going to change that loop that we just did to a different loop. And now we'll look at the back end of this effect. So we've got the slow gear going into our cabinet where I'm using the Mesa Boogie, and I'm using the blend B in the middle, up close. Just remembering that I forgot to show you the microphones on the other GT1000. We'll look at that in a minute. Hopefully I won't forget. Now here I've got an EQ where I'm just taking out some of 160 Hertz. So I'm taking out some of the lows. Okay, and then we come into a divide here where I've got the mixer set to stereo. Nothing funky going on here. Okay, the reverb is the shimmer, a lot of the tone rolled off, density up a little bit, all the effect level up high. I've got the pre-delay on, low cut, the high cut not so much. I'm leaving those highs there. None of the high or low damp on. I have got ducking. Now what I might do is take that off. Yeah. Oh, need to show you more, sorry. Now here in the pitch I've got -12 and a +12, and I've got them both in the middle, okay? But none of the direct mix coming through, remembering this is a wet channel. Now the delay is also a shimmer delay. I've got that on 250 milliseconds, but I've got the feedback up quite high, so when I stop here, that's going to keep hanging. And I've got it just on the brink. If I take it up to about 97, that won't stop. It will keep feeding back into itself. I'm just slightly short, so it's starting to die off slowly behind me, okay? The level's quite low, and I've got a high cut in at 160. None of the direct mix will be coming through, none of the ducking's on. I have got the modulation up really high, I've got it cranked, okay? And the pitch here is +12, and I've got the pitch balance at 100%, and I've got the feedback at 100%, none of the direct mix coming through, okay? So how I plan to use this, hopefully, it's kind of like that, okay? So what we're going to do, I can't remember if I made any changes there, we're going to just stop that, go to the next patch. Now in this patch, I've got a similar thing going on, but for my clean amp, I'm using a transparent amp, okay? So let's just... What's going on is I've got a tremolo directly after the amp before the EQs. And then when we come to the wets, I'm now going to get rid of that dry signal. Actually, let's hear it with the dry. So what's going on is after the cabinets now, we've got two delays. This simple delay block. After each delay block, I've got the pitch shifter where I've got one voice set. And in the first pitch, we're +7. And in the second pitch, I think we're +12. Now here we've got a delay time of 1250 milliseconds, zero feedback, level up, no direct mix, and on the other side we're running at 2K, okay, with more or less the same settings, slightly different high cut. Now after that I've got the level up, and you can see here the timing, and I can't quite see that from where I am, so hopefully you can see it. And I've left the fine tune in the middle, okay, on both sides. Now this mixer is set to left right, so we're getting the signal on the right and the left rather than up the middle. After that I've got a chorus. Pretty, right? Then we come into a reverb, and what I might do here is I had a feeling when I was listening to this earlier that I wanted to turn this up a bit, so I'm just going to bring the level up of the compressor. Okay, so now we're going to go totally wet. And I'm just going to save that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to attempt to take a loop. We went to the right loop, and okay, I'm just going to bring in a beat, and we'll leave it at that for the moment. Okay, and on the next round I'm going to take a loop. I messed up the timing a little bit in the middle there, but we're just going to roll with it. Sounds pretty. Now what we're going to do is use this sound to come in behind it and just bring some chords, so hopefully this will work out. Let's see how we go. Now I'm going to take a loop. Nice together, so let's come back into here. Let's just get a medium gain. Gonna go to the neck pickup. Go to the other ear, stick on some verb, go to the back pickup. That in. So down to the GT1000. More focused. Two notes. Whoa, there we are. Okay, so GT1000 feels like it cuts through the high mids a lot more, even though I pulled the high mids down. disengage from my wet, split to stereo, go to a medium gain, back pickup, take away the loops I put in, come crashing in. In the pretty noises. Pickup medium gain driven. Okay, and let's just pull that feedback back so it fades off. Okay, so I enjoyed that session. I like the maximum. I think it's interesting to dial this amp in the deep dives. We'll dive in, pulling the sag around. I prefer it through my Two Notes, even though I don't know if I prefer it. They're different tones. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. They are different tones, but then it's a BOS amp and it's a non-specific cabinet. I wonder what happens. Actually, do you know what? We've missed a trick. Let's just check what happens. Right. Okay, so I'm on blend C. Actually, I'm going to stay on blend B. Commonly, I quite like the blend B on the short in the middle. But let's now change from the Mesa Boogie cabinet to the original for the Maxim. Boss, what were you thinking? Let's go back to this 412.3. Stick a Marshall cab on that. That's what they were thinking. It's a Marshall, modded Marshall, isn't it? So I'd need to pull the settings around a little bit for that. I've set it up for a Mesa Boogie cabinet. Which I think will show the versatility of the amp when we get into the deep dives. We'll stick different cabinets on and dial it in different ways. With the BOS amps, I think with the original amps, I'd like to try and stay faithful to how you might dial it in the real world. But I'm just going to save that patch as that is. Do I need to? There's that little... It's bugging me. Yeah, I prefer it opening up that 2K there, just taking that out a little bit there. So I'm just going to save that. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed the session, found it useful. Hopefully those pretty sounds weren't too pretty for you. Take care. Bye-bye.